What up, what up? It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to Wednesday. Wednesday, Big J. If you're looking to spell it out, it is the 14th day of May 2025. Damn near halfway through the month of May, Big J.
That's crazy, man.
It was like blink and you're there, and now it's halfway done. We're almost into the actual, the kids are almost out of school, Big J.
No.
You got a summer to look forward to, full of fun, vacations, family get-togethers, and excitement, and you're just weeks away from that. I think the kids have about 10 days left by my count. So enjoy what you have in front of you. Make your summer plans. And you know what? Why don't you just kind of disconnect from the world for the next 4 hours and let Big J and I take the wheel? What do you think?
I'm all for it.
Can you drive?
You betcha.
Have you been drinking?
No.
Wonderful.
Coffee?
Caffeine is a stimulant. I think we're okay.
I think we're going to be just fine.
But today on the show, we get a chance to sit down and talk to somebody that we haven't talked to, Big J, in literal days. Jeff Augusta from Zoo Boise, popping by to talk a little bit. No, see, that's tomorrow. I was right. Never mind. Jeff Augusta will be coming in tomorrow.
What the hell?
That's what I get for listening to you. But we do have an opportunity for you to get qualified for a bunch of things, including but not limited to.
Today's Wednesday.
Yes, today is Wednesday. That's part of the problem. We have a chance for you to qualify for the best seats in the house for XFest 2025. Thank you, Birds of Prey Motorsports. That opportunity is coming your way with the X Spelling Bee at 7:30. We have a chance for you to qualify for the X's Rockstar Remodel. That is $9,000 worth of goods to some of the best businesses in the Treasure Valley to help you fix up your living space. We're talking Tate's Rents, Boise Bug Bombers, Big J, CHF Home Furnishings, Hawaiian Bill Roofing, Roots Rock and Barkyard, Brothers Gutters, Butte Vents, Archaic Concrete, Boise Paint and Supply. These are the companies that are taking part in this fund, and you get $1,000 each to every single one of those, dude.
Damn.
And you get to do that whatever you want with your house. And you're going to have a chance to do that with a little thing called Guess That Grunt, coming your way a little after 9 o'clock this morning. We have Seether tickets to give you. That show is sold out, coming up on May the 23rd. Poor Sean from Seether's had to cancel a couple of shows because they haven't been feeling that great. Kind of the Nothing More formula, Big J, as they had to cancel a couple of shows before they came this way as well, thanks to Johnny's voice. Well, Sean's been under the weather, but at least for now, knock on whatever this studio is made out of, that you have a chance to see them, because they're picking up their tour in Missoula, which is a couple days before the Boise date, so all should be well there. For your sold-out tickets, we're going to give those away over the course of the program today. Big J has a movie review for you. He watched the movie called The Order on Hulu, starring Jude Law, very handsome man, Nicholas Hoult, somebody who we're all a fan of.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Witness me. And so, of course, that's Lex Luthor in the new Spider-Man or Superman verse, so that's exciting as well. And we have additional cool things on this show, but we also play music, such as 9 Inch Nails. This is Closer. It's the X Rocks.
And stuff.
Hey, what's going on in the news today?
The morning after with Nick and Big J.
Let's talk your Boise State Broncos football, Big J.
Oh.
Yesterday, they announced what was going on with their season opener. Of course, the Broncos open up the season at South Florida, and that game is going to kick off at 3:30 p.m. on Thursday, August 28th on ESPN, Big J.
Yeah.
ESPN now announced the details for several early 2025 college football contests. During its upfront show, Boise State's trip to USF is the first of 2 marquee August 28th matchups that ESPN will be broadcasting. Now, this is the first Thursday game Boise State has partaken in since 2021, Big J. That's when they lost 36-31 to UCF on the road to open up that season. So the Broncos are going back to Florida since that particular game, which didn't end well. But they also opened up the 2019 season in Florida. If you remember, that was the comeback victory over the Florida State Seminoles there in Tallahassee. The afternoon affair against USF is Boise State's third opener broadcast on ESPN in 5 years. Of course, was the UCF game in 2021 and Oregon State in 2022. And this is the second game we know so far for the Broncos kickoff time. We also know that the Broncos are going to get a 1:30 p.m. kickoff on October 4th against Notre Dame that will be broadcast on NBC. So that's good news for you. The Broncos get to start things off on a Thursday. That used to be the day we owned Big J, the Broncos. And now the first Thursday game in 4 years. How do you think it's going to go against the Broncos against the UCF? USF?
I have no idea.
Oh, come on.
Too early.
You don't want to predict the Broncos' victory already?
I predicted no. I'm going to go with what. Well, I don't know. I want to switch. I don't want to treat them like I treat the basketball team. So,
Why not?
It's a win. Well, one has experience winning in the postseason, and one doesn't. So.
Okay. All right. Well, this isn't the postseason, you understand?
I know.
Okay.
But it kind of is. It's the beginning. It's the preseason.
You're right. The preseason is the exact same as the postseason. I stand correct. Big J, the 2025 NFL schedule will be released officially this very evening.
What?
But we already know that the Minnesota Vikings players better have their passports ready because they are doing something that no NFL team has ever done before.
Russia.
They're going to play back-to-back international games in different countries.
Wait,
But
different countries.
yes, the Vikings are going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers on
the hell is
September
going on?
28th in Dublin, Ireland. That's the first NFL game in Ireland. And then the very next week, the Vikings will head to England to take on the Cleveland Browns on October 5th.
They can't be happy about this. Why are they making them do that?
Well, I think they're happy for two reasons. Number one, they don't have to do a go away and come back in 1 week. I feel like
Sure.
they'll be better acclimated to the
Right.
schedule there. But also, these are 2 away games for the Vikings, so they don't
Okay.
lose a single home game. So I imagine they really are probably like, wow, we get to make history, I suppose. But yeah, the NFL's all over the place
I
this
guess
year.
it's also an experiment to see how that second game goes.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, they've never done this before. They've had plenty of games in international places. This is the first time they have one team play 2 games out of the country in back-to-back weeks. The Jacksonville Jaguars have played multiple games out of the country, just not back-to-back wise.
An old Cheerio England.
Yeah, and so we will see how it goes for the Vikings, but that is quite the trek. I've taken that flight. It's a long one. Although my guess is the accommodations for the Vikings a little bit better than me flying coach to Dublin, Ireland.
Yep.
If I had to guess. Big J, we lost a legend. Morris, the famous alligator. Now, this is one of those deals where you're like, I don't know any famous alligators, but you do. This happens to be the alligator that starred in Happy Gilmore, Big J.
Now it's with Chubbs.
Passed away at 80-plus years old. They don't really know exactly how long he was alive, but he was around for a pretty long time. He was in a bunch of TV and film roles from 1975 to 2006, but he was around for a very long time. And, of course, yes, the alligator that took Chubbs' hand in the Happy Gilmore
Bit
movie
his damn hand off.
passed away yesterday. So I'll let you eulogize one of the icons in the film and TV world.
Rest in peace, Morris. Hopefully somebody gets some good boots.
I wonder if there's some sort of well, no, I mean, I know they're going to play off of that joke somehow in Happy Gilmore 2. I just obviously at the end of Happy Gilmore, the alligator appeared as a Force ghost at the end of the movie. And so, along with Abe Lincoln and Chubbs, if you remember, Big J.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if the memory of Morris will live on in Happy Gilmore 2 when it hits Netflix later on this summer. One can only hope, Big J. A proper homage should be paid to him. Agree or disagree?
Totally.
So we'll see what the ball's in your court, Adam Sandler. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. Coming up in a few minutes, we got to update you on phone bills. That's next on the X. That is Incubus. That is Drive here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Big J, it's a different time than when you and I grew up and were getting through our formative years and graduating from high school and deciding if and when we want to move on and start taking care of ourselves and supporting ourselves in this world. It's just the reality of the economy, of the current state of things, and etc. But basically, Big J, parents these days are financially supporting their kids further and further into adulthood than they ever have before on any timeline. They are still taking care of car payments in some cases, paying their rent, groceries, vacations, but it's not until they stop paying for one big expense that kids truly feel like they are on their own. According to a new survey, 76% of Americans say they don't think that they're an adult until they can stop their parents from paying their phone bill and get a phone on their own. So that apparently is the new threshold to adulthood in the United States of America. When you could pay your own phone bill.
I wonder what that's like.
What?
Not paying your kid's phone bill.
Oh, you pay your kids' phone bills?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a thing.
As far as I understand, yes.
That's right. You're not privy to all information. I also pay for my kid's phone bill. That's just the way that it works.
Your kids aren't in their mid-20s.
That's true. My child is 18, and so there is that.
I mean, we have a plan together. It's a shared plan, so we get a discount, that sort of thing. But still,
and they take that into account. Like that's the number one reason why kids say they're still on their parents' phone bill. That is to say, we have a family plan. But also, those same kids aren't like they're chipping in for that bill. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. He nods slowly and says, yes. And so that apparently is like the new, adulthood sign. Now, listen, we also grew up at a time, Big J, where cell phones weren't a thing. They weren't actively a thing until, like maybe our mid-20s? That's when it became an everyday kind of like thing, like you needed a cell phone or things were not okay?
Yeah, I would say the equivalent for me, anyways, in this situation was car insurance.
Okay.
Like my mom paid, because we were on, same insurance
plan, right?
So she paid my car insurance well into my 20s.
Are you paying your kids' car insurance?
We have been, and I think one of them is becoming independent and paying their own.
There you go. On average, at this particular stage, kids start paying for their own phone bill around the age of 27. But there are still 32% of Americans that don't pay their own cell phone bill until they are 30 or older. And 18% of Americans don't take on that responsibility until after they're 40. So we, again, are moving the goalposts pretty far down the line. Now, yeah, again, when we were kids, if you wanted a cell phone, you bought it yourself. I mean, like I was one of the late bloomers when it came to cell phones. I was very much against having one because I felt like if people wanted to get a hold of me, there were multiple ways they could at that particular point. I was either at work or at home. I also had a pager, Big J, because we were super cool. You understand?
Oh, gosh, you had a pager?
Oh, yeah, dude. Banana Communications
were you
pagers.
a drug dealer?
Hell yeah. No, dude. It was like, this is like 1992. Everybody had a pager. 1995.
I didn't.
You didn't have a pager ever?
I never had a pager.
Okay.
Never had a pager.
But, so I was I was convinced that having a cell phone would make me dumber and ruin my memory because I had all my friends' numbers.
You were right.
I was 100% right. I don't remember anybody's number anymore because I don't have to. And
of course,
so
numbers change a lot.
This is also true. But it is one of those deals where I was definitely a late kind of I was using it every day. I probably bought my first cell phone, which was a flip phone. Back when I was like, I don't know, I want to say 26 or 27. It was really late on into the, at that point, Blackberries were already a thing and I wasn't into those particular things. I didn't need one at the time. And so I was late to it. But of course, I paid my own cell bill. I've always paid my own cell bill, but it was a different time growing up. But it is impressive to me or interesting to me that the cell phone has become the new, I guess, passing of the wand to into adulthood. You've made that journey. You can pay your own cell phone bill or you have your own cell phone account. Congratulations, you're officially an adult. But now you know, Big J, your kids are still kids until they start paying their own phone bill. And it sounds like you say there's still some time to go, huh?
Probably, I think so, yeah.
Well, everything's going to be just
30's around the corner for them.
30's around the corner, but some of them don't pay until they're in their 40s, Big J. So prepare yourself accordingly and your financials accordingly. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, Big J's going to give us a movie review of The Order. That's next on the X Rocks. Beat by a monster's hand here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Yesterday, you guys selected a movie for Big J to watch. That was called The Order. It was available on Hulu. Big J watched it, and he is going to tell us all about it right now. Go ahead, sir.
The Order. This movie plays out, Nick, in our backyard up in North Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. As this takes place late 70s, early 80s time, and it's based on true events of the Aryan Nations, Nick.
Oh, fun. White supremacy in Idaho?
Yeah, thanks,
Great.
everybody. Thanks to you. Thanks to our listeners.
Great.
The stars Jude Law as Terry Husk, FBI agent. Nicholas Hoult plays Bob Matthews. He's the bad guy, Nick. Ty Sheridan playing police officer Jamie Bowen, and you've got Mark Maron in here. Real brief on him, but the majority of this movie is basically what was going on in the early 80s there up in Coeur d'Alene is Richard Butler had a group of people who were racist, bigot pigs, essentially, and they were, preaching their hatred. Within that group, they had a splinter group that decided, you know what, enough talk. We need to take some action. And so they start to develop basically a terrorist cell. Bob Matthews was the head of this group, and they started armed robberies and just a lot of heavy crime, heavy dangerous crime. At first, law enforcement thought, this is probably just robberies. But really, they were, a terrorist organization for the most part and wanted to try to bring those plans of the Aryan Nation to fruition. And Jude Law's character is the Coeur d'Alene office been empty for many years, and so he comes to start that investigation because he believes there's more to it than what everybody else does. And of course, he has his family issues. His family doesn't want to move with him. You never really know that. But great mustache by Jude Law. I'll tell you this right now. I would not have, sought out this movie of my own, of course. That's what happens here with Streaming Dumbass. But Jude Law is fantastic. He's good at anything he is in. He's got a great mustache in this movie. Nicholas Hoult also fantastic. So the performances of this are great. Would not call this an action movie by any means, but the action sequences are done fantastically. And so it's a slow-moving character development. It's kind of, it's a true crime movie when you get down to it, Nick. I was really impressed, aside from just the acting, with the sound, the action sequences. The sound was so realistic, like the gunfire, a little different than you're normal, going to get from a lot of movies. It just seems so accurate, and so there's some really good, I think, work behind the scenes in this movie, aside from the actual acting itself, which was phenomenal. So it's a good movie. I think it's just got some really hard, subject matter, and those are one of the things that here is I feel like I sacrifice sometimes in Streaming Dumbass, because man, after watching a movie like this, it's like I can't take a shower enough, or I got to go find something decent else to watch just to scrub it away, because it is filled with a lot of hate, and there's a lot of scenes and things there that are not fun to watch.
Oh,
so,
I'm sure.
That is one aspect of this, but totally approve this movie. It's a really good movie. And it's some great acting by all of those involved, and pretty good movie.
Did you learn anything based on a true story, or was this all pretty much stuff that you already knew?
No, I think well, and of course, remember, it is a movie, so it's been Hollywoodized up a little bit, but that group that this movie is based off of, The Order, I mean, they were pretty close to becoming a real terrorist organization and doing some real damage and hurting a lot of people. But luckily, they didn't get that far. But that's the only thing really that you would, I think, get out of this. Or some folks who are younger who don't realize that that very disgusting history, especially for us Idahoans that have to deal with that on a daily basis because it still exists up in that area, is something that I don't think a lot of people think of too often.
No.
Forget about it. Try to anyways.
Yeah, pretend that it's not there, but it doesn't make it go away. But also, I remember from the description, they talk about one of the things was overthrowing the government. You talked about armed robberies. Is that like the end game for that particular?
Well, in order to do that, you have to have money. In order to,
no, I understand.
So what I'm saying is the armed robberies and things, that was them trying to get a war chest so that they could get enough, and doing all the things that you have to do. You have to find some really stupid people to go out and die for your cause. So you need to recruit people, and then you need money to buy arms and explosives and those sort of things, and that's what those robberies were about.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, the description made it sound like the overthrowing of the government was a much bigger part of the movie than maybe you thought it was.
I mean, in the movie, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I understood the what they were trying to do anyway.
Sure.
So they were calling themselves a militia, and that's pretty much what you get with that whole. Goes hand in hand with overthrowing the government for the most part.
The Order is the name of the movie. It is on Hulu, and it is Big J approved.
Yeah, Big J approved.
We are back on the positive side of things, so if you want a movie that apparently makes you want to take a really long shower afterwards, that's what you're looking for on Hulu. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Important stuff next on the X.
News. Important stuff.
Newsfeed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Important stuff brought to you by the best seats in the house and Birds of Prey Motorsports. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to give you an opportunity to get qualified for them by playing the X Spelling Bee. You spell an X-themed word correctly, and you are qualified for the best seats in the house. We give you VIP passes for you and a guest to X-Fest 2025 on October 1st with Chevelle Asking Alexandria, Dead Poet Society, and more. And you get to sit up in a riser in the VIP section in a brand new 2025 Maverick X3 DS Turbo side-by-side, courtesy of Birds of Prey Motorsports. That's pretty awesome. All you have to do is continue to listen, because in about 20 minutes, we're going to give you a chance to get qualified and be in on that fun with the X Spelling Bee and the best seats in the house, courtesy of Birds of Prey Motorsports in Caldwell. Check them out when you get an opportunity. Big J, I don't think you qualify for this, but your family might.
Oh, what does that mean?
I'm talking about cold hard cash, my friend. If you owned an Apple device anytime between the years 2014 and December of 2024, which you may or may not qualify for, I don't think so, right?
Well, considering all of our money goes into the same pool as we discussed earlier for devices and phones, yeah, I'm owed that money, Nick, because I helped pay it.
All right, well, then
Give me my money!
You could be eligible to file a claim as part of a class action lawsuit.
I guarantee you the wife has already done this.
The lawsuit is Lopez v. Apple. The tech giant had been accused and found guilty of spying on users. Now, Apple does vehemently deny the allegations, but they had been found guilty and lost all appeals. And so those who experienced an unintended Siri activation during a confidential or private communication between September 17th, 2014 and December 31st, 2024. Like you're having a talk and all of a sudden Siri says, "What can I do for you?" You can file a claim by visiting LopezVoiceAssistantSettlement.com. How much could each individual receive, Big J? Well, there's a $20 cap per Siri-enabled device. And individuals can file for up to 5 claims if they have that many accounts on their particular account. And the maximum total is $100. But who's going to say no to a free $100, Big J, if you've been an Apple subscriber, right?
Yeah.
So there's
a drop in the bucket of what you've paid.
True. But so it turns out, Big J, our phones are listening all the time. Who would have thunk it? I mean, we did, but still. Mm-hmm. That is now something that you can make some money. And it's $100 more than you had 10 minutes ago. So why not jump on there and see if you can qualify if you are an Apple device owner. Big J, Major League Baseball has done an about-face on 2 of the most notorious players in baseball history. I'm talking about Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Shoeless Joe Jackson?
Commissioner Rob Manfred announced a new policy stating that permanent ineligibility ends upon an individual's death. That means that Pete Rose is now eligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame, as is Shoeless Joe Jackson. The reasoning is that deceased individuals no longer pose a threat to the game's integrity.
Oh,
now,
come on, that's garbage. What a bunch of hokey BS.
Right. I mean, one would argue if that were the case, they stopped posing a threat to the game's integrity the second they put down their cleats, but whatever. Now, Pete Rose, of course, passed away last year at the age of 83. He had been banned for life in 1989 for betting on games while managing the Cincinnati Reds. Some would argue he was banned more for being a habitual liar about it than anything else. If he would have came clean, it probably would have been a little bit easier to handle, but he was the arbiter of his own demise. But Shoeless Joe Jackson, of course, also banned, but there was a lot of evidence that he was one of the White Sox players that actually wasn't on the take. But that's a story for another time.
I didn't know that. I thought that he was...
Well, you saw Amen Out, right?
No.
Oh.
Well, no, I saw Field of Dreams, though.
That's not...
That seemed to be his biography.
No, he was already dead at that point. I mean, he came back as a ghost. But,
Ray Liotta.
Yeah, no, I understand that's the same character, but they didn't really get into the scandal.
I thought...
Rose's reinstatement allows for his consideration by the Hall's Classic Baseball Era Committee in 2028. And that's probably when he will be elected, as well as Shoeless Joe Jackson as well. So we will see what ends up happening. But once again, like, I was one of those guys that was like, I still believe there should be a special wing of the Baseball Hall of Fame for scumbags. Like, people that were just absolute terrible human beings.
Well, you can't call them scumbags, so what would you...
No,
what would
listen,
the official...
I think Pete Rose is a scumbag.
Yes, I understand that you think that, but you can't...
No. But you
call it that.
Call it the asterisk ring.
The alternate.
And you can put all the steroid users and abusers in there. You can put all the cheaters in there.
Mark McGwire, let's go.
You can put all the people that had a huge impact in baseball, but probably Ty Cobb can moved in there. The people that were just not great and a good reflection of what you think the sport should be, but still
John
had
Rocker.
An impact. No, John Rocker's not a Hall of Famer regardless of what he did. But I just feel like that's a thing. And I was a pretty big Pete Rose supporter until I watched the Pete Rose documentary that he gave the green light to on HBO a couple years ago. And it's just like that dude had a really serious problem. Still, a huge gambling problem still until the day he died, I bet. He also was a bit of a jerk and kind of, I think he was a habitual liar that you really never knew the truth about anything he did. And he also was a terrible person to ladies. And so there's a lot of questions about his character, and I don't think those go away.
The thing is, the sport's not about that.
No, it never has been.
It's about the sport, and there's no doubt the contributions that he and Shoeless Joe Jackson made to the game while they were playing.
No, I fully endorse them going into the Hall of Fame. I just, again, think there should be a special part of it because I don't think you can tell Pete Rose's story and his impact on baseball unless you can talk about and have an honest conversation about the things he did away from the diamond because that's a huge part of his legacy. And I think Shoeless Joe Jackson is the same, and I think all those steroid users are the same, to be perfectly honest. And that needs to be part, once again, history repeats itself if we don't talk about it. And I think it's an opportunity for people to know that this is not okay in any game. And this is why. But you can't deny the impact that Barry Bonds made on baseball. You could try, but you can't. And you can't deny the impact that Pete Rose had on baseball. But away from it, they were doing things that aren't okay. Big J, former guest of the morning after, Krista Ritter making some news.
God, I mean, why couldn't she talk to us about this? Oh,
she wasn't allowed to.
Because we had 7 minutes to talk
But
to
she also wasn't allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, it's true.
But she will reprise her role as Jessica Jones in season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. That will premiere on Disney Plus in early 2026. She joined Charlie Cox's Daredevil character in a storyline where, of course, they have to go up against Mayor Wilson Fisk's anti-vigilante.
No more vigilanteism.
Regime. Of course, we also know that Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be back. We know The Punisher is back. We know Karen Page is back as well in season 2. If you got all the way through season 1 of Daredevil Born Again, you know he's forming a team. So who knows if
The
other
Defenders
could come back. Maybe, just maybe, that could be the case.
What's his name? Who played Iron Fist?
What's his name?
Yeah, the kid who played him.
I had no idea.
Remember? Great, that'll come up later this morning.
I have no idea.
Start studying.
Terrible show. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. It is the X Rocks.
Let's PLAY. That's spelled play. The X Spelling Bee for a chance to win the best seats in the house to X Fest 2025 from Birds of Prey Motorsports and 100.3 The X Rocks.
It is time for the X Spelling Bees. Spellers and rock fans across the Treasure Valley, we implore you to give us a call, 208-287-1003, because we are going to use those spelling skills that you have and put them to the test and give you an opportunity to qualify for not just any seats at X-Fest 2025,
no.
the best seats in the house at X-Fest 2025. Thank you to Birds of Prey Motorsports for that. We'll get you VIP tickets. You know, that does also mean, Big J, I'm not supposed to brag, but VIP does mean free stuff. Like, we're talking free beverages, free food. We feed you in the VIP section. We make sure that you have some drink tickets to enjoy some fun. You get to sit up above everybody else in a riser on these beautiful side-by-side.
We should just call them Lord and Lady, you know?
Of the manor? Well, we don't know the gender of the two people sitting in there.
Lord and Lady.
So it's hard to assume. But if you want to get in on this, you have to spell a X-themed word correctly. And quite frankly, you're going to get it from one of the best spellers on our staff, Radio's Big J.
Wait, what?
And so if you have what it takes, get on the phone, 208-287-1003. We'll see if you can use your spelling skills for good and not evil like you usually use it for. Hello, the X.
How's it going, guys?
Good, man. What's your name?
Devin.
All right, Devin, you're up first. Big J is going to give you a rock word. You have to spell it correctly, and you will be qualified. Are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Now, there's no mistakes here. I know this word, like backwards and forwards. You need to spell for us Metallica.
Metallica.
That's it.
Yeah, good job,
That's
man.
it.
Yeah.
I had to look it up.
Yeah, did you really?
Oh, no. No way.
No, he knew it right. He rattled it off right away. Devin
Oh,
knew
yeah.
what was up. Congratulations, Devin. Hang on just 1 second, dude. We will hook you up with the qualification for the best seats in the house at XFest 2025, courtesy of Birds of Prey Motorsports. 2 more opportunities today with different words. Jason Drew's got one coming your way at 12:30. Adam has one coming your way at 5:10. So continue to listen to get your name in the running as well. Morning After with Nick and Big J. We're going to go to hell, and we're going to do it next on the X Rocks.
On 100.3, the X rocks.
Today's We're Going to Hell story proves, Big J, you don't want to mess around with a couple old ladies that don't have anything else to do. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, when they don't like each other and things go sideways, there's nothing to do but to make the other person's life hell. And this comes from a story that started 10 months ago. Couple of neighbors in their late 70s that are both live on their own in an apartment complex, and they just don't like each other. And this is so much so that this case eventually ended up in court. But we'll start at the origin stories, okay?
Okay.
So one of the women involved, neither of them are named. We just know that the 78 woman who is the plaintiff in this particular case, Big J, lives on her own, and she has a cat that she absolutely loves named Leo that has lived with her for the last 8 years, right?
The Leo.
Now, Leo is one of those cats, even though they live in an apartment complex, I guess Leo is free to come and go as he please. You know what I mean? If he meows at the door, she lets him out, lets him do his thing, and then he comes back at night and gets his food. It's that kind of cat relationship.
He's got freedom, real freedom.
I know that's not the kind of relationship you have with your cats, but you've seen, I'm sure, cats that come and go as they please, right?
Yeah, and a lot of times they just never come back.
And so she started to notice that Leo was missing some feeding times. And he's like, well, what the hell's going on? Leo would come home every single night at this time. We have our drill. I just call Leo, do a little kiss noises. Leo! And then Leo would come running, meow, and eat his food. And he was in for the night. She even had a cat flap on her door, Big J, to get in so the feline could come and go as he pleased. But as she started to realize that Leo, one day, she saw her neighbor, which she doesn't like, open up the door, and Leo came out of it. And so she's like, man, is this nasty woman that's living next to me that I don't like hanging out with my cat? What the hell's going on there? And so the cat stopped coming around for meals, so she jumped to the conclusion, hey, this lady's feeding my cat, you know? And so she sent out a letter and said, hey, dear neighbor that I do not like, stop feeding Leo. That is my cat. Leave him alone. Let him come and go as he pleases, but I want to feed my cat. Leave him alone. Knock it off. But she started to realize that once the letter was delivered, Leo essentially was almost rarely ever leaving her neighbor's house. Like, the meals were coming more regular. She started leaving food outside of her door. Like, this is like a real beef. You know what I mean? Like, they just straight up didn't like each other. So now the lady was very upset, and all of a sudden Leo started living with the neighbor, Big J. Just straight up wasn't coming home.
This is like a love triangle.
That's right. So she filed a lawsuit for pet theft and all sorts of other things. Now, of course, occasionally feeding somebody else's pet is not a punishable offense, but doing so systematically, this lady was like, hey, listen, that's like basically coming up with a plan to steal my property. That
catnapping.
Cat is my property. That's unlawful appropriation according to U.S. law.
Oh.
According to her case, of course. And so they went to district court. The respective lawyers found a solution to their predicament, and they found in favor of Big J. Oh, you want to do a quick judge, Big J? Who do you think got the ruling?
I'm going to go with the old standard, which is, I forgot how that phrase works, but owners keepers. Wait. Oh, crap. Finders keepers. There we go.
But did she find the cat?
Yeah, found it at her doorstep. Said, come on in, kitty.
Okay, so you say
I'm saying they're going to give it to this lady, this other lady.
The lady that's the defendant.
Yeah.
Okay. They ruled in favor of the plaintiff, Big J, as they ruled that pets are people's property, and in fact, they should be returned to the other thing. But then the weirdest thing happened, Big J.
Like that.
Behind closed doors, they came up with a settlement And the defendant ended up paying the lady to keep the cat. So she gave the neighbor that she hated enough money to make her shut up, and now Leo is her cat. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
Cat?
Yeah.
She sold her cat.
Took this woman to court for her cat that she says she stole, and then behind closed doors, enough money was offered up that she was like, fine, take the cat.
She's probably mad at little Leo for even just entertaining the idea of going to the other ladies. You know what, Leo? You could live there.
You know what? I didn't think about it, but you're 100% right. That's exactly what it was. Oh, you like it over there so much? The hell out of here. I'll take her money while I'm at it, you jerk
Or
cat.
get a different cat. And don't let them out. Never let your cats out. Okay?
All right. Don't yell at me. I don't have a cat.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X Rocks.
Important stuff. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
The following information should surprise no one, but maybe the most impressive thing has been the longevity given the choices. But there was a poll recently given out to over 250,000 Americans to discover which food is ordered the most in America for delivery. Do you know what food came out on top as it has every other year since it's been invented?
Pizza?
Yes, far and away. 29% of Americans said that pizza was their absolute to-go order of choice when they get something delivered to their house. Survey found that 28% of people order pizza at least once a week. 10% order pizza more than once a week. So that's impressive as well. So the question becomes, Big J, last time you ordered a pizza?
Me personally, like I actually did the ordering.
No, like
Or-
you had pizza for...
Last week.
Okay, there you go. How about the question that you wanted to answer?
No, 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So about once a week is your average pizza.
Yeah.
So you're in that 28 percentile. Congratulations. Number 2 came in, Tex-Mex, tacos, nachos, that kind of thing, the number 2 order. But again, comically behind the pizza,
Well-
which is number 1 with a bullet for a very, very strong percent.
Pizza had a big head start.
Oh, on everybody. But
way, yeah.
again, the longevity is what's impressive. Yes, pizza was the only thing you could get to go for a very long time. But the fact that it is far and away, I mean, nothing even sniffs it. Coming close to what you now can get anything you want delivered to you at this particular point. And it's still number 1 by a ridiculous margin. That's a credit to the dish. It's a credit to the flexibility of it. And it's a credit to how much we as Americans enjoy that particular dinner, lunch, breakfast, whatever you want to have for it. So pizza for everyone. I mean, there is that famous song, pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. When there's pizza on a bagel, you can have pizza anytime.
Yeah.
Following HBO's success with Hard Knocks and Netflix's success with Quarterback and Receiver, Amazon Prime is getting back into the NFL documentary business. The home team, New York Jets, will be a 6-part documentary series that will follow New York Jets players throughout the 2024-2025 regular season, 6 of them in particular. Of course, that saw the Jets stumble to a 5-12 record. Their head coach, GM, both got fired. This was last season, so Amazon says the series will provide an authentic peek into the emotional journey these players and their families go through over the course of a 17-week NFL season. Not the first time they've done this, but do you enjoy these peek behind the curtains during the season of NFL programming?
Yeah, I really enjoy Hard Knocks in season. It's fun to watch just to see what's going on, and I think some of the things that the players do that we don't get to see, practice stuff and just their day-to-day operations and stuff like that is interesting to me. I feel like this would be interesting just because of all the drama that went down this last year.
Yeah.
Seeing that and how that affects the everyday family, I mean, it would be hair rate. I mean, you would want to pull out your hair.
Yeah, probably not great. My guess is it doesn't go well during the season and things are ugly behind the scenes. Who was the in-season Hard Knocks last year? Because I haven't watched it.
That's a great question. I don't remember.
Oh. So it obviously
that was like 6 months ago.
left its mark. Speaking of sports, ESPN will launch its new streaming service coming up this fall. Don't they already have ESPN Plus? Of course they do. But this one will be more expensive, Big J. It will offer a variety of sports content programming without the satellite subscriptions. They say it's going to redefine the sports business, according to Disney. That service will be offered on a standalone basis. It'll also be part of the bundle with Hulu and Disney+. It will cost about twice as much as ESPN currently costs, Big J. So something to keep in mind if you want your...
ESPN Plus?
What ESPN Plus currently costs. About twice that. So if you want to keep your sports and your ESPN on your television, you know that you're going to have to budget a little bit more for it. And with football season right around the corner, if you want, Sunday Night Football, that's something you're going to have to pay attention to. It's going to cost you a little bit extra this year for their new ESPN service, which, by the way, do you know what the name is of it's going to be?
ESPN?
That's right. They're just taking away the plus and calling it ESPN and then charging you double. As far as I know, there's no new or additional content on it.
Well,
Not that I could say that was in the press release.
Well, here's the thing. So ESPN Plus gets you ESPN Plus stuff, but it doesn't necessarily get you the regular broadcast of ESPN and ESPN News.
It doesn't?
No.
Well, I don't know why you would need ESPN News, but ESPN is not on there?
Oftentimes, there's games that are on ESPN News as a crossover and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that's why this is necessary for them to move forward to try to actually cut the cord so that you can get the regular ESPN broadcast on ESPN Plus.
So what did ESPN Plus get you then?
All kinds of other garbage, Nick, that isn't ESPN. That isn't the actual channel.
So now you know why it's going to be double.
Why.
You'll have the access to the mothership, as they used to call it.
Yeah.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. We got your Pop Culture Smackdown next on the X.
Here's Pop Culture Smackdown on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, and we're hooking it up, man. Tickets to Sold Out Seether at the Knitting Factory on the 23rd. That's next Friday. And we're getting you qualified for a VIP. Well, I guess it's just a meet and greet, but it's going to be an awesome one with the band Seether. You just need to beat Nick and Pop Culture Smackdown.
Here comes our phone number, 208-287-1003. Been criminally easy to grab these tickets so far this week. My guess is that trend continues. If you'd like to play, get on the phone and see if you can score the Seether tickets for answering a question or two correct, courtesy of Big J and Pop Culture Smackdown. I wish each and every one of you the best of luck from the bottom of my heart. Big J, are you ready?
You betcha, man.
Let's go to the phones. Hello, the X.
Hello.
Hi, who's this?
April.
All right, April, you're up first. Good luck.
April, professional basketball player Dennis Rodman, once upon a time, had a nickname during his playing days. What was it? The Snake, the Worm, or Dominator?
The Worm.
The Worm is 100% correct. Well done. Nick, what was the very first movie ever to have a PG-13 rating?
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn is 100% correct. April, we know George Lucas created Star Wars, but what other pivotal 80s franchise did he create with Steven Spielberg directing the first 4 movies?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
We know George Lucas created Star Wars, but what other pivotal 80s franchise did he create with Steven Spielberg directing the first 4 films?
Indiana Jones?
Yeah, Google did a good job there. Good job. Nick, what was the original original title of Star Wars Episode 6 before it was renamed A New Hope?
I don't think I know this. I have no idea. We'll call it Revenge of the Jedi.
That is incorrect. A little simpler, just Star Wars.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Congratulations, right. April. You got yourself set up to go check out Seether, the Sold Out show, and possibly meet the band. Hang on one second. We'll get you everything that you need to know and make sure that you're good to go. Morning After with Nick and Big J. We got your headlines. They are next on the X Rocks.
News. You have our word on it. For whatever that's worth. It's headlines on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Headlines are as follows. More lettuce news. Creepy, right? And that's not my way.
That's not my way.
Burger King is facing a false advertising lawsuit, Big J, regarding the size of their Whopper sandwiches. 19 different customers from 13 different states are suing the fast food giant, claiming the Whopper and other menu items are advertised with 35% more meat than what's actually in the sandwiches. Now, Burger King has filed a motion to dismiss, but a Florida judge denied that motion on last week when the chain insists that the flame-grilled beef patties portrayed in our advertising, the same patties used in the millions of burgers we serve to guests across the United States of America. Big J, do you feel like the commercials make the burgers look bigger than they are?
Yeah, they always look bigger.
I don't know if it's the
and made nicely.
I don't know if it's the burger that makes it look bigger as much as like the other toppings on the burger are always so like airy and big, and like when you get it, it's all smashed down together and like one
it's
kind
squashed.
of thing. And so like I think that's the more unrealistic. Like the bun is always fluffy and like that's just not how it works. It's usually flat and squished down, but. I can certainly understand. I don't know if they'll win this, though. It probably is the same burger. It's everything else that's different. But you know as well as I do, the stuff that you see on the TV is not what you're going to get when you go through the window, right?
Yeah.
And I mean go through that window.
I don't think I've ever believed that I was going to get what I saw there.
Anywhere?
Yeah. So the fact that you would believe that, you're an idiot.
All right. Sounds like Judge Big J has ruled.
Yeah.
More lettuce news or creepy, right?
Creepy, right?
A woman on Reddit has an unusual question. What should we do about a friend who has tattooed her name on her wrist? And she means her first, middle, and last name is pretty big and bold on the wrist of her friend. The friend apparently got the ink to celebrate the anonymous woman's birthday. But if they had asked her about it, she would have said absolutely not. Of course, commenters are divided. So we ask you, Big J, would you be weirded out if one of your friends just got your full name tattooed on their wrist in big letters?
That'd be pretty weird.
It would be weird, right?
It would be pretty strange.
What do you do in that situation?
Spend less time with them?
Is that it? You separate yourself from them?
Ooh, yeah, that's weird. It'd be different if we had a bet and they lost that bet.
Sure.
And that was, but them doing it on their own volition, going out and getting my name on
Look what I got for your birthday. It says your full legal name on my wrist.
Middle name? That's a secret.
I know your middle name.
I know you do, but you also have access to my file now.
That's right. And I know where you live. We'll wrap it up with more lettuce news. We talked about lettuce the other day and how you got to be careful of it. The University of Minnesota students aren't paying any attention to that. They gathered for their annual lettuce eating competition. Doesn't that sound fun?
No.
About 24 students fought for the title of head lettuce and the opportunity to serve as the president of the lettuce club. Ethan Lyle was crowned the winner after he ate a whole head of lettuce in 3 minutes and 32 seconds. And they had a lot of fun, and I don't know what the lettuce club does.
He had fun? I love this lettuce.
Apparently, he did suffer a tummy ache after the event and wasn't happy with how much lettuce he ate. Well, that's a lot. I mean, a whole head of lettuce is a lot of. I mean, that's feel like it's a lot of water, dude. You know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I don't know what the lettuce club does. It sounds like just something dumb that you do in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, it's an annual tradition, so you can't go back because they expect you now to eat a bunch of lettuce in May for whatever reason. But I guess they had their fun.
Yeah. Sounds like a great plot for a frat comedy.
Hypothetical question, Big J. I name you head lettuce in the lettuce club. What's your first order of business? Do you demand more lettuce on sandwiches? Do you demand a particular type of lettuce be the official lettuce of the United States of America? Are you a romaine fan?
Yeah, no, I say we start a conglomerate of all the lettuces together. Endive, all of them.
A lettuce goulash, you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. Bold moves from head lettuce.
I would never head lettuce. I would never want to be head lettuce, okay?
Different type of lettuce for you. Morning After with Nick and Big J.
The devil's lettuce.
Here is your headlines. You're up to date on everything. We're going to give you a chance to qualify for the X's Rockstar remodel. That's next on the X.
Let's play Guess That Grunt. Presented by Tate's Rents and 100.3. The X rocks.
All right, we want to get you qualified for our X's Rockstar remodel. We're giving away $9,000 from different Treasure Valley companies all over the place that can help you build up your backyard, build up your house, build up your roof, build up your apartment, your condo, whatever you want to fix up, they'll help you get it covered from patio furniture to getting that insect problem under control to making sure you have a new roof if you needed, to getting your gutters fixed, a new fence, whatever you want, we got it covered. And we're going to play a little game called Guess That Grunt, Big J. When you're doing some home improvement, some weird noises come out of your body.
Yeah.
And we are going to play you a weird noise from a particular song here on the X. You just have to tell us the name of the artist and or band that is making that noise, and you are qualified for this really nice X Rockstar remodel. Big J, are you ready?
You know what? I'm ready, man.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, well, I want to make sure that it's something that you can do.
Appreciate that. I don't have much to do.
No, why would you? But we certainly have.
Are
Appreciate
you ready is the question?
I'm trying to get this figured out, but I do have it figured out now.
I love it.
Hello,
me.
the X.
Hi,
Hi, who's this?
this is Christine.
All right, Christine, we are going to play you a song over the phone here, and we are going to give you a second or two to name the artist. If you can guess that grunt, you are officially qualified for the Rockstar remodel, okay?
All right, let's do it.
Good luck. Here we go. Any guess who those grunts belong to?
Oh, that's it's hard to hear. Can we hear it one more time?
Of course you can. It'd be my pleasure. Lots of little tiny grunts coming out of that particular song. Any guesses on the band?
Oh, I don't know. AC/DC.
AC/DC is a good guess, but that is not the grunts of AC/DC. Thank you, however, for playing, Christine. We appreciate it. Plenty more chances for you to qualify a little bit further down the road. Do not be frustrated. Hello, the X.
Pearl Jam.
Oh, look at this.
Damn.
Somebody was paying attention. Well done, man. What is your name?
Bryce. B-R-I-C-E.
All right, Bryce, congratulations. That is right. That is from the song Why Go by Pearl Jam, a deeper cut. But lots of grunts and groans in that particular song, and that is definitely the one that you needed. Congratulations, Bryce. You're officially qualified for the X's Rockstar remodel presented by Tate's Rents. Well played, sir. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Your opportunity to have some bad impressions. That's next on the X Rocks.
Injured at Park Gordon.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, we got some metal coming to town. Cradle of Filth. There's no doubt about that. It's happening at the Revolution Concert House and Event Center on May 20th. So we will hook you up those tickets. That show is next Tuesday. You just need to figure out bad impressions here today, and they're yours.
All right, here comes our phone number, 208-287-1003. You can call that right now if you'd like to play bad impressions, which works like this. Big J has 3 clues, all of them surrounding somebody that is pretty famous. Is that correct today?
Very famous, yes.
And if you can figure out who that person is in 3 clues or less, congratulations, it is you going to check out Cradle of Filth on Tuesday at the Rev Center, and maybe that will make you happy for once. Let's go to the phones. Hello, the X.
Hi,
Hi, who's this?
Tara.
All right, Terry, you're up first. Good luck.
Boom! Tough acting, connected.
Next one.
Hey, if it's in the game, it better be in my football game. Boom!
John Madden.
Here you go.
Yeah, good job. Congratulations. Hang on 1 second. We will hook you up with those Cradle of Filth tickets. What was clue 3 for fun?
I'm way more than just a yearly football game. I was a Super Bowl winning coach of the Raiders and a Hall of Fame broadcaster. Boom.
Why is John Madden in the news, sir?
We have our first look, Nick, of Nicolas Cage as John Madden and Christian Bale as Al Davis.
Let me say this. Christian Bale looks great as Al Davis. Nicolas Cage looks like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he's got,
with longer hair.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. He's got the pants, at least, the 70s pants. Again, this movie happening, written by David O. Russell and directed by him. He's a pretty good director, so it should be interesting to see how this goes. But it's going to be about John Madden's life, not necessarily about the Raiders or this or that or even Madden football, but the whole spiel.
Is it about the whole life? I thought it was just about the season coaching the Raiders and winning the Super Bowl.
That's not what I thought it was about.
Okay. Either way, they're making it now. You have your first picture, and they definitely look like they're supposed to be playing something, then they're not. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your bad impressions. We wrap up the show here next on the X Rocks.
DQ. out on 1,000 eyes, all watching, waiting.
It's the latest from Spirit Box, Perfect Soul, wrapping up the morning after with Nick and Big J on this Wednesday. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. We always appreciate that. Big J gave his best Hacksaw Jim Duggan impression to the movie The Order as he gave it the old thumbs up and approved it. If you're looking for it, you can check it out on Hulu. That's where that movie is available. And he said it was worth your time and something maybe you should think about checking out. We also had a chance to get people qualified with all sorts of stuff over the course of the show today. That will continue tomorrow. More chances to get in on the best seats in the house for XFest 2025, as well as the X's Rockstar remodel. We're very excited about that. And, of course, we had Judge Big J rule quickly, but didn't really need his services because the ladies in We're Going to Hell figured it out themselves about feeding your neighbor's cats. And at what point does that become your cat once you start feeding it enough? But we found out the hard way that you can't let your cats out of the house. Big J's a big advocate of keeping your cats inside of your house. Agree or disagree?
Sorry, cats.
But it does leave you with the floor, Big J.
Happy birthday to Mike Inez. He is 59 today. He's the bass player for Alice in Chains, a wonderful, nice man who he's a hell of a bass player, man.
Favorite Mike Inez story? Go.
Interviewing him, the band out at Rockin' the Range and having to do it twice.
We got really probably one of the, next to Motley Crue, one of the best, we were invited into Alice in Chains dressing room.
This was all the same day, by the way.
Very beautiful, gorgeous dressing room. Very nice people. And we were tasked with interviewing Mike and William, right?
Yeah.
And we sat down and we did a really good interview. And then Big J looked down at the piece of equipment and said, what was it? Like, oh no, I forgot to press record.
I don't know. It was just, I was having problems with that piece of equipment all day.
It was true. We had lost a couple of interviews on that equipment.
Yeah. And so we did the interview again.
They were nice enough to give us even more time, and we hung out with them even longer. And I think we asked totally different questions, right? It was like a different interview altogether.
Probably. And then I screwed up and did the same thing with Motley Crue. That we did not get a do-over on.
No. That was like...
that was walking shame away.
Sorry. And you knew the second we left the room, you're like, oh my God, it happened again.
Yeah.
And
I had it back. I'd had it recording while we were on the way there. And then I hit the button and it turned it off.
These are some of the things that happen on our adventures across the country interviewing rock stars. But happy birthday, Mike. Our 2 interviews with you one day were fantastic. We appreciate you. And he's been on the show since then as well. Good dude. Morning After with Nick and Big J. That's your show. Jason Drew's coming in next. We'll see y'all tomorrow. It's the X Rocks.